Hi everyone, it's Aimee coming to you live from the kitchen. It's Cooking with Aimee. It's Wednesday. And what are we cooking? As I kind of indicated in the post, we are making a North American family favorite. I have to be honest, this is not my family's favorite, and every time I make it, they love it, but it is not a recipe that I make on the daily. So we are making meatloaf. Meatloaf on a beautiful sunny day. This might not be a recipe you would think about. This might be one of those wintry, kind of stick to the ribs kind of recipe. But what I love to do with my meatloaf is put it onto the barbecue, or as I'm gonna do today, I'm gonna put it on the Traeger. I'm gonna cook it slow, I'm gonna smoke it. If you don't have one of those, put this one in the oven. I am making two different versions of meatloaf today. I am making a vegan version, which we're gonna start with first, and then I'm gonna make a regular meat one. So I'm gonna post both the recipes over on the VIPeeps page. If you're not part of the VIPeeps page, come on over there. I post recipes often. I love to cook, and clearly I like to eat, and more importantly, I absolutely love to share. So we're using a few fun tools today. Some of the staple ones that I normally use on a daily, and some that I haven't used in a long time, and I'm really excited to be able to share all of it with you. So the first thing that we did, we being me, is I used the new multi-cooker. So this is Pampered Chef's version of an Instant Pot or a pressure cooker. So the only difference between ours and the others is that ours also does sous vide as well. I love the fact that my multi-cooker has a stand for the lid, and I will let you know that I just hit the release button. It lets a bit of the steam out. Very safe if you do have little ones, and I love that it's got this extra little doodad here on my lid, because my lid stand can sit here, and then I don't have to worry about extra anything onto the counter. So I have started with some lentils. So I've got some red lentils here that I've already cooked in the multi-cooker and have them ready to go. The longer they sit, they will get a little thicker. I'm not sure if you can see there, they're a little bit runny, and that's okay. We are going to use some oats and some oat flour in these lentils to make this all come together in a really delicious hearty meal. I'm telling you right now that everyone in my family eats this, and only some eat the meat version that we're gonna make after. Okay, so very first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take the lentils that I have cooked with 3 cups of water and 1 tablespoon of oil. That's all I did to them. And I'm going to purify them. So just making them all cook up together, and I'm using my Flex. Now, I'm gonna be very honest with you all. This is one of those tools I don't often use. This is the emulsion, and how great and simple is this sucker, and every time I use it, I think, why don't I use this more often? So I'm kicking myself as well. And when this first came out, this came out last fall. One of the big questions was the battery life. So it comes with 2 batteries, and we were told that the battery life lasts about 30 minutes. So each battery, because it comes with 2, 30 minutes, there's an hour's worth. So because this has an emulsion, it has a food processor portion as well, and it has a, oh my God, I just lost what I have. I have and the mixer, the hand mixer. So 3 different pieces, 2 batteries, lasts an hour, it's awesome. But the next question was, how long can your batteries last? How long will the batteries hold their charge for and keep the charge? Well, again, I don't use it too often. Again, my fault, not thinking and remembering I have it. So I pulled it out of the cupboard today for the first time in a really long time. Loved the fact that when I snapped it onto the base, you can see there, the battery is at double strength. So not fully charged, but I haven't used it in so long. So again, I love the fact that I, as a consultant, can be honest with you and say, A, I didn't know, I'm going to find out, but more importantly, that this sucker holds a really great charge and that it continues to hold the charge. And again, no cords. So that's a bonus. So I'm going to unlock it, I'm going to turn it on, and I'm just going to, oops, how about I don't turn it off? There we go. There we are. So I'm just turning the strength up. I keep turning it off. There we go. And now I'm just going to get the lentils done here. And I'm just going to make them a really soft kind of mush, essentially is what it looks like. But like anything else, right? Like ground beef is the same way. Okay, so really simple. Now don't forget, with an emulsion, we don't want to use glass. I was able to just do my mixing, and I'm going to show you here because I'm going to put everything in our glass. This is the 8-cup batter bowl, which is Pampered Chef's, one of Pampered Chef's main staple product. And you can see here that the lentils are completely mixed up. And this was just 1 cup of lentils to 3 cups of water and 1 tablespoon of olive oil. Now, we could have done the lentils with a veggie broth. That would have been okay too, but we didn't really need to. So while those are cooling a little bit, we're gonna take our non-stick, cutesy little non-stick frying pan. So this is the stainless steel non-stick. This is one of the newer pans that had just come out back in the spring, and I love it because of the little size, but what I love most about it is that it is, because it's stainless steel non-stick, it can work on any surface at all for cooking. Therefore, if you have the induction, it will also work on induction, which is awesome. Not all of our pans do. All 3 of the non-stick stainless steel do. 1, 2, 3, all 4 now, all do. So I am going to use today my amazing tool, and I'm going to cut up some veggies because we're going to saute them and add them into the lentils. So I just need 2 stalks of celery, and I need 2 carrots, and I am going to, there we go, make sure that I've got it on a thinner. Now remember, the dials are on the back, and we've got julienne slicing. I just need any simple thin slice. I'm going to throw the carrots and the celery together and just chop up as small as possible, because then we're just going to saute all of this. We're going to add it to our lentils. What's great about our rapid prep mandolin is A, it's super fast. B, I'm protecting my fingers. And you can see there how thinly sliced that is. I'm going to toss it in again, only because they went sideways. The smaller the better. And look at how amazing. This was 2 pieces of celery and 2 carrots. I'm going to add that right now to the pan. I'm going to add about a tablespoon of the infused garlic oil and put that at the bottom of the pan. I'm going to add some onion. Might as well add some onion right now to this mixture because it's going to be the celery, the carrots, and the onion. I'm going to take about half of an onion and I'm going to toss it in here as well. And then everything is just going to get sauteed together. Amazing. amazing, right? Did you guys see how fast it is? And you know the best part? Easy to clean this sucker because it's all dishwasher safe. And it also comes with a little toothbrush, should note. I'm just going to show you guys there. Look how great in this pan those are. And we're just going to give that a little saute. I'm going to add a little salt. I know you can only see my arm there. And a little bit of pepper. And it's infused with the garlic oil. And we're going to give that a minute. So we're going to let that do its thing. And we're going to add some of the garlic. So fresh pressed garlic to the lentils right now. And again, just going to use my garlic press. Really simple recipe. There is some other recipes out there that call for a black bean, black beans instead of lentils. We find that the lentils make a really nice base for the meat loaf, and they've got a lot different protein in them, but more importantly, we can add so much to it, and the goodness of this is amazing. Now for this, I am actually going to be putting them in the mini loaf pan and then making a kind of barbecue-y sauce on the top. And they freeze so beautifully that way, if we want to take one or two out, it's extremely simple and easy to do that as well. And those are going to be put also in the oven, and then last minute I'm going to take them out and I'm going to put them on the stone, and they too can be smoked and given that same flavor that the other ones have. The meat version is going to be given, and I will show pictures of that after when I also post the recipe for this. So I'm just adding some salt and some pepper to our lentils, probably about a half of a teaspoon of each. And we've got the garlic, and again, I'm just gonna right now let that sit for a second. Gonna stir up over here our carrots and celery, and we just wanna get that to, they are about a translucent kind of color. And I'll show you in a second as they go along. It doesn't take long, about 5 minutes for this. And super simple. Again, that just has some salt and some pepper in it. Okay, so we've got the lentils going along. We're gonna add some more seasoning. We're gonna add some cumin, and we're gonna add, I believe it's a teaspoon. Let me just grab my teaspoon, there we go. Okay, I am going to add, yes, 1 teaspoon of cumin. There we go. We're gonna add a teaspoon of our 3 onion. Okay, this is Pampered Chef's 3 onion. I'm gonna add a teaspoon of that. We're going to add a teaspoon of the smoky paprika. Now this is a smoky paprika and onion. I find it really great in burgers and in meatloaf like this recipe. It adds an extra little kick, even though we're adding the 3 onion, and even though we're adding a bit of the cooked onion to it, it still gives it this nice kind of smoky, delicious flavor with just a little bit of an extra kick with the onion in there. So we've got garlic in there. It asks for the 3 onion, cumin, and the salt and pepper, okay? We've got a 3/4 of a cup of oat flour. We have 1 cup of oats, and this is just for thickening, okay? Again, we've got the lentils, which are a bit, like I said, watery, but as they are cooling, they're starting to get thicker as well. And you can see here that it is already getting thick, and the more that the oats sit in here, the better. I am also going to add 2 tablespoons of nutritional yeast. So we've got protein right away from the lentils. We've got protein from the nutritional yeast. We've even got protein from the oats themselves. And you're gonna find that the flavor in this is a beautiful, beautiful kick of flavor. Absolutely amazing. Okay, stir in the nutritional yeast as well. And by now, the veggies are done and we can add that to it. And then we've got ourselves a Pam favorite, delicious seasoned meat loaf that's not meat. Okay, so you can see there the translucent color veggies. I'm just gonna put them on top here. The extra kick of garlic from the oil is amazing. Smells so nice. And again, adds that extra kick of flavor. Hold please. We've got Bristol outside. We have Bristol outside who I forgot about. He's outside suntanning. All right, so now we're just gonna stir in the veggies. And you can see already that the lentils are getting a little bit thick. I'm gonna let it sit for just about a minute or 2 and get the regular meat version of this delicious meatloaf started, and let this cool a tiny bit and let it thicken itself. Okay, again, we are going to put them in to the non-stick little muffin pans and make little mini meatloaves that are delicious and meatless. So I'm gonna let that sit here and let it all get into itself, get all that deliciousness going. It already smells amazing in here. Now, I am going to top it afterwards with just a honey chipotle. Now, the vegan who lives at my house doesn't actually eat honey unless it's in something. So because this delicious barbecue sauce, we get it in the States, it's one of our favorites. It's already got some natural ingredients in it. It does have a hint of honey, and because of it, she will eat it. So I'm just gonna top hers with this delicious sauce, and it just gives it a nice little kick. And again, I'm gonna finish it off onto the Traeger where she's gonna get that smokiness into her meatloaf. So really simple, really easy. And again, everyone's gonna eat the same thing. We're just making 2 versions, and that's okay. So we've got that portion done. So now we want a meat version. We've got some meat eaters at my house. So we are going to be making a Sicilian meatloaf. And it's a little bit different. I'm excited to share this recipe with you. Really simple and basic as well. And again, we are gonna be putting this onto the Traeger. And so I'm really excited with the extra kick of flavor that we're gonna get with that. This, if you do not have a Traeger, you don't have a smoker, doesn't matter. Put this sucker in the oven. I'm telling you, it's delicious. And on a day like today where you might even want to use your barbecue, simply put it on your barbecue. There's no right or wrong. I will be posting pictures because I'm actually going to be putting ours in a cast iron, giving it that extra little bit of iron at our house. So I just have 2 pounds of ground beef going on there. I am also going to be adding some 3 onion to ours. You're gonna notice it's all about the same kind of seasonings. I'm gonna be adding some of the smoky paprika with onion. We're gonna be putting some fresh garlic. You saw I put 2 cloves of garlic in that one. We love garlic here. For those of you who are allergic, our friend Annie, not able to add her garlic, she adds delicious seasonings to hers. There's simple ways that you can add some goodness to it. You'd be able to add some Italian seasoning, oregano, anything that you actually like to add to meat, loaf, to red meat. Do it. There's no right or wrong. We are going to add some garlic to this as well. I'm gonna add one more clove because I can. I wanted to show you guys the size of our elephant garlic we got this week. Amazing. Oh, child-proof apparently. There we go. All right. And I'm gonna add one more for good measure here. Love my garlic press. Sold quite a few of them this weekend at the women's show. Loved having people back in an event. I might have to cut this sucker in half, it's so big. Normally, you know, I don't peel my garlic, but the sucker's so big I can't even get it in. I love it. So great to see the gardens and the tulips and the daffodils all coming out. We know that's only a matter of time before all the farmers markets and such will be back, and we'll be able to get our Ontario produce and veggies back. So exciting. All right. So we've got our garlic in there, 3 onion, smoky paprika with onion. All of that's going on there. Let me just clean this up. Oh, I also added a bit of cumin, I think. Let's add a little bit more there. Excellent. So, same seasonings that I added into the vegan version, same seasoning here. That's my point. If you can keep this as simple and as crazy as you want, I'm gonna add just a little bit of pepper and salt to it. The only thing I'm not adding is I'm not adding the fresh vegetables that we sauteed. So I'm not adding the carrots, the celery, or the onion because I am going to be flattening this out, and I'm going to show you in a minute, and I just don't want the chunky vegetables to be part of it. So I am going to be using my hands, mixing up the meat, and getting all that flavor mixed up together. I am just using, like I said, 2 pounds of ground beef, and I am just using my glass bowl, and then I'm going to give it 1 minute just to let it sit there for a second, letting it come together in all that goodness, all those seasonings together. And there we go. And then wash my hands for 1 minute. All right, so now the fun begins. And again, a couple tools that I haven't used in a long time. I haven't used the multi-cooker in a while to show you guys all the things. Obviously, my rapid prep mandolin, use it all the time. Don't actually show you guys enough. But more importantly, I use the emulsion today, something I don't often use. And these are some of the things that I'm glad I have in my kitchen, and sometimes kick myself for not using it too often. So I'm taking a piece of parchment, and I am just going to take the meatloaf, and I am going to flatten that out. Okay, so I'm just taking and flattening it out onto the piece of parchment. And if you've just popped on, I am making meatloaf, not one of those meatloaves. I've never used lentils ever for anything. Okay, Nicole, I'm telling you right now, they are so good for you. And again, I'm going to show you in a minute how we made the meatloaf into lentil version. And I am doing both versions, both of them having the same seasonings into them, and yet a little bit different because obviously one's meat, one's meat and one's not. And really simple and easy to prepare a lentil. They are amazing for protein. They're so good for you, and really easy, but either green or red. We tend to like the red ones here more. And you can even put them into sauces and such, and no one even knows that they're there, and yet they're good, added goodness. So if you've got some meat eaters and you're worried about them not getting enough, or you've got vegetarians or vegans who are trying to better their diets, or you're actually somebody who's just trying to better your diet and maybe eat a little bit of less meat, lentils make an amazing substitution for meat, and they've got the same kind of a consistency, in my opinion, to beef once you add all the seasonings and such into them. They make a really great alternative to any meats and added sauces. So, all right, so we just got our meat flattened out there, fairly thin, and I'm going to take out my roller. Now, you guys have all seen me use my baker's roller. You've all seen me use my baker's roller when I use dough. I use it often. Those of you who follow along on my socials, you know how much I love this sucker. And did you know that you can even use it on meat? It is not just for breads, it's not just for doughs. It is as well for meat. Now this will obviously be going into the dishwasher right away, because with a vegan who is still here for the next couple days, I want to make sure that it is disinfected for her. All right, so I have my meat laid out there. It is fairly thin. I'm going to see if you guys can see that. Fairly thin there. You can see it's quite thin. And I am now going to take ham. Now I've got some thinly sliced ham from the deli, and I'm going to lay it over top of the ground beef, okay? So I'm just taking this thin piece of ham, these thin pieces, tell that they are very thin, and I'm just laying them over top of the ground beef. Again, I'm going to be very honest with you. Meatloaf is not my family's favorite. It is considered a North American favorite for families, not so much mine, but every time I make this version, they love it. So I don't make it too often, but when I do, they do love it. And again, not one of those dinners on maybe a nice warm spring day where the sun is out and you might want to barbecue. This is one of those recipes where you want to hunker down on a cold night. This is one of those dinners where I don't have to do much. Super simple to create, and more importantly, it's done really fast and really easy. Okay, just washing my hands again. Oh, there he is. Okay, so again, in the ground beef, I've got some cumin, I have some 3 onion, some salt and pepper, and I have some smoked paprika. Okay, easy peasy. We are now going to take our quick slice. Love my quick slice. If you've been here often, you've been here long, you know I love it to the point that I have 2. I am taking a ball of mozzarella, just opening it up, and I'm just gonna put it right on, and I'm slicing this sucker down. So if you like to make caprese salad, if you like to make anything with the fresh mozzarella, how simple is that, that I just got my sliced mozzarella done in a second. So now I'm just gonna take my sliced mozzarella and I'm just putting that right over top of the ham right now. Just putting that there. It's so fresh. And I'm just gonna layer my mozzarella on the meat. So we have, this is, like I said, total opposite of the lentil one, but the same kind of flavor. All right, so we've got some of that. This is so fresh, there we go. This is so fresh, it's sticking to itself. All right, so we have our lunch meat, it's just ham, we have our ground beef, and we have our mozzarella. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna roll it. Okay, so this is where the parchment paper comes in handy, and I just start rolling the ground beef, ham, into itself. I'm gonna make sure the mozzarella stays in, because as it cooks, and there we have it. You can see there, The mozzarella and the ham is in our beautiful meatloaf. I am going to layer that into our cast iron. I am going to leave it plain for now, putting it on to the Traeger, getting that delicious smoky flavor. I am going to leave this for a second because I want to show you all the lentils now. So we're going to put our lentils. You can see there the thickness of our lentil. Oh my God, it smells divine. You can see there how thick it is. About the same thickness as our ground beef just was. So in here we have the same beautiful seasonings, the garlic, the smoked paprika, the 3 onion, the cumin. I sauteed some onions, some celery, and some carrots in there. We've got a little bit of oat flour, some nutritional yeast, and some oats. And just give it that kind of thickness that we want. I'm gonna add it into the pan. I don't even have to spray the pan because it is a non-stick pan. And I'm just gonna fill the wells. And then I'm gonna cook this on a 350-degree oven. I cannot wait to share this recipe with you guys. In my opinion, it's a beautiful, easy recipe to make if you're trying to do a meatless Monday or you're trying to take some meat out of your diet. This is a beautiful way to be able to still get some good protein into you and to not sacrifice on taste and or flavor. So on this Wednesday, we have beautiful meatless and meat loaf, prepared in all under a half of an hour, and everyone in my family absolutely loves this dinner, complains about it until we eat it. We've got meat and meatless, and what would we serve with this? Well, tonight we're gonna have some baked potatoes and we're gonna have a Greek salad. It's a really simple dinner, done in a half an hour, 2 different versions. Can't wait to share this recipe with you guys. Again, if you're not over on the VIPeeps page, please don't hesitate to take that link and go on over and get the recipes. I love to share. I love, love, love to create some new things. If this is something you're scared over, trust me, it's delicious. Again, a great way to be able to get some good protein into you if you are trying to go meatless, even for 1 day a week, imagine. So glad you're here. Glad everybody's having a happy Wednesday, and we will talk to you all soon on this delicious Wednesday.